Um, so we're gonna go ahead on and talk about another topic that will prepare you guys for Monday. This is with radical and rational exponents. This is a continuation of the properties of exponents that you guys will use, but we're going to use them with radical and rational exponents. Okay, or basically we're going to use them with exponents that are in fraction notation. Right. So I understand that most students who take math really don't like math and they really have a fear of fractions. So let's go ahead and try to review that first, and then we'll dive into the actual material that you guys should know so we can be prepared for Monday. So we have a set of fractions here. So let's look at the first set. It says add 1/2 plus 1/3. Now, anytime that you add or subtract a fraction, okay, just going to write this in the top end corner over here. You need to find the LCD, which stands for the lowest common denominator. Okay. So you're going to look at your denominator and you're going to look at what is the common multiples of the denominator. Okay. When we say multiples, we mean you start with the number in the denominator and then you go up from there, and you start with the other number in the denominator, and then you go up with there, and then you see what are the multiples they have in common. So for instance, we have 1/2 and 1/3. We want to find what is the common multiple between 2 and 3. So if you look at the multiples of 2, you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and it keeps going up further from there. Look at the multiples of 3. You have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and it goes up from there too as well. Now, they have many multiples in common. They have 6 in common, they have 12 in common, they have 24 in common. Well, which multiple was the multiple that was the lowest? It was 6. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to change both denominators to be a denominator of 6. Okay. So I'm going to change that to a 6 plus that one to a 6. Okay. All right. So what did I multiply the 2 by in order to make that a 6? You guessed it. I multiplied that one by a 3. And whatever I do to the bottom, I must also do to the top. So this becomes a 3 right here. What do I multiply the 3 by in order to make it a 6? I multiply that one by 2. And again, whatever I do to the bottom, I must also do to the top. So this becomes 1 times 2 is 2. 2 over 6. So now that I have the same denominators, I can go ahead on and add the actual fractions. I'm going to keep the denominator the same. So that'd be over 6. And 3 plus 2 is 5. Right? All right, let's look at the one at the bottom. We have 3 over 4 minus 7 over 8. Again, 3 over 4 minus 7 over 8. I'm actually write this one over again just to get some room. Okay. All right, so what is the common multiple between 4 and 8? Okay, well, they have, if you look at the multiples of 4, you have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and can go up from there. You look at the multiples of 8, you have 8, 16, 24, and it can go from there too as well. So as you can see, they have they have a lot of common multiples together, but the least common multiple is 8. Okay. Now most students would say 4, but they must understand that we're talking about multiples, and and when you look at the number 8, 8 is its lowest number or its lowest multiple. Okay. Now, 4 is a divisor or a factor of 8, but it's not a multiple of 8. Okay. When I say multiple, that means you start at the number and you go up from there. Okay. So we're going to change both of our fractions to a fraction It's 8 with a denominator of 8. Okay. Look at the first one. What do you multiply 4 by to get 8? That is 2. And whatever we do to the bottom, we also do to the top. So this becomes 6. Okay. Look at this one, the one on the right. This one already has an 8. So anytime that your denominator does not change, then you don't change the numerator as well. So this one stays at 7 over 8. Okay. So now you're going to do 6 minus 7. Okay. And that's going to be a negative 1 over 8. Any questions at all from anybody? Again, this is my answer right here. Okay. I don't know why I keep asking, do you have any questions? But gotta keep going. All right. So now that you understand that, again, you may want to pause the video now, take a moment to kind of refresh yourself on these fractions. Maybe you want to practice it again. If you want to try a different one, then you can. But we're going to transition now over to actual rational and radical exponents, okay, or at least the rational exponents. So let's say you was to multiply 2 to the 1/3 times 2 to the 3 over 4. Now, here's where we have to use our properties. What property do you think is being used here? Again, you have 2 being raised to an exponent of 1/3 and 2 being raised to an exponent of 3 over 4. Don't get confused by the exponents, okay? Look at the fact that you have two numbers that are the same base and they're being multiplied. So what property do we use? That's right, you guessed it. It is the product property. And remember, when we have the product property, okay, the product property tells us that A to the N times A to the M equals A to the N plus M, okay? So anytime you multiply two bases, you have to add the exponents. So here we are going to have 2 to the 1/3 plus 3 over 4. Okay. Now what you want to do is you want to find what is the common denominator between 3 and 4, because you can't add them because they're two different numbers. So again, you look at your multiples of 3, your multiples of 4. Right? If you want to pause the video now and try to find that out, then you can. All right. Now that you're back, if you pause the video, let's go ahead and see what we're going to do from here. So you understand now that the common denominator between 3 and 4 is 12. Right? So it should be 2. Okay. What do you multiply 3 by to get 12? Well, that's 4. And whatever we do to the bottom, we also do to the top. Let me just write the actual fraction down here. 1 over 3 plus 3 over 4. And what we do is we multiply this by 4, that by 4 as well. So this became 4 over 12. And what do you multiply 3 by? Okay. I'm sorry, 4 by. You multiply 4 by 3 to get 12. So what we do to the bottom, you also do to the top here. So this becomes 9. Okay. That becomes 9. Now you can add the actual fractions. So this will still be a base of 2, denominator 12, and the numerator would be 13. Okay. Now I know that before middle school that if you had a numerator that was bigger than the denominator, then you would change it to a mixed number. But here in high school, we just leave this fraction the same. So we leave it as improper fraction. All right. Okay. 5 to the fourth power divided by 5 to the 1/3. Again, this is 5 to the fourth power. Let me write this out a different way. So this is 5 to the fourth divided by 5 to the 1/3. This is what this is saying. Now, what property are we going to use to actually simplify this expression? That's right. It is going to be the quotient property. So, quotient property states that if you have two numbers that with the same base and the operation is division, then what you must do is you must subtract the exponents. So this becomes 5 to the fourth power minus 1/3. Ooh, this is a good one. And the reason why it's a good one is because you have a whole number here, okay? And you have a fraction here. How do you subtract or solve a whole number with a fraction? Well, first thing that we should know is that we gotta make that whole number a fraction by putting a 1 under it, okay? And this is minus 1/3. Now the question is, okay, what is the common multiple between 1 and 3? Hopefully you get it real quick because it's just that easy, but most students do struggle with this. So if you do, it's fine, okay? But the common multiple between 1 and 3 is actually 3, okay? Since our fraction on the right-hand side did not change, then we leave the numerator the same as well. What do you multiply 1 by to get 3? That's easy, 3. And what do you do to the bottom? You do to the top as well. So 4 times 3 is 12, right? So now 12 over 3 minus 1 over 3, this is going to be 11 over 3. Okay. So the answer to the question that 5 over 4 divided by 5 to the 1/3 is going to be 5 to the 11 over 3. Okay. Well, that's it for this particular video. Hopefully you guys have learned something and can apply it. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me the questions and I'll try to answer them back throughout the day. And then hopefully you guys will be prepared for the actual class on Monday. Okay. All righty. Talk to you guys later.